Hey guys, welcome. We are here for NA playoffs. It's that time of the year, Season 3 for Overwatch University League. This is Mushy Beef, and I'm also joined by my lovely casters, Lobosco and Lafon. How you guys doing? Let's start with Lobosco. What's up?
Doing great. Excited for some playoff action here today.
Very, very cool. And Lafon, how you doing?
I'm doing well. I mean, getting ready to get set into some Overwatch action. It's always fun to see these kind of games get these playoffs rolling.
Yeah, I mean, I'm super excited. We have a great game for us first here today. Actually, let's go ahead and take a look at today's matches. Didn't quite fit there. But for the first ones, we have Division 5 matchup. It's Moosey Fate versus Budget C9. And then later today, we're going to be able to see Armory Esports versus... the first game is going to be that quarterfinal. Second game will be that semifinal, and it'll be either Armory Esports or Boosted Animals versus Teemo or Shots Fired. But yeah, what do you guys? Let's go ahead and just start talking about the teams for today. We'll start with Moosey Fate. What do we know about this team?
Go ahead. Take it away, Lobosco.
Well, I was going to say the name should look a little familiar for people. I mean, Tormented by Gnomes has done a lot of production work and a lot of casting here for Overwatch University League, and Mookie Kaibo as well. So just from that standpoint, people should maybe know these names or heard them before. But they're a team that went four wins, one loss, no ties in their regular season play, and were one of the top teams in their division. And now here they are in the playoffs. It'll be interesting to see. They do play with the Mercy, and they do have a Zenyatta as well. So the supports are the interesting thing, I think, here to look at just with how the meta is right now.
Yeah, I mean, and then on the side of Budget C9, it's a team we've been sort of familiar with here at the OW University League. Not just that, but at one point in time, they were the Scrub Cup champions from one of our friends over on the Scrub Cup. These guys are not unfamiliar to us. And so, again, we get to see them post up here in this quarterfinal matchup. One thing to note is that they hold the same record that Moosey Fate does at a 4-0-1. So 4 wins, 1 loss. So a very even match here, at least on terms of win record between Budget C9 and Moosey Fate. And I'm thinking that we should be having a good matchup here tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. And let's go ahead and check out what is even going on. We've been doing maps of 4, just a 4 map pool all season long. But this time, we're going to be doing a best of 5. So you can see here, of course, no scores yet as we were just getting started here for the Division 5 matchup between Moosey Fate and Budget C9. But our first map will be Nepal, and afterwards it will be a choice of the loser. And again, first to 3 wins will win, and there can't be any map ties. So if there ends up being a tie on one of the maps, we'll just head on over to Oasis for a best of 1. But yeah, guys, I mean, before we jump into the game, anyone that we should be looking to that you think should be performing here?
I'm gonna say this here. Knowing the meta, we mentioned this earlier, but this is gonna be the fight between which Mercy comes out on top. So I'm gonna make a prediction here. I'm gonna say Budget C9 takes it. Right ahead before we even get started. Anything, I'm gonna say Budget C9 comes out on top with a victory here tonight.
And to elaborate on that, Sunny 78 is the Mercy player for Budget C9, and for Moosey Fate, your Mercy player is Slug Slayer. So those are the two to watch as far as that Mercy matchup. And it's not always about, especially with how Mercy is right now, who's getting the best reses in. It's getting the res in, but also how are you using that Valkyrie ult? That ult is such a game changer at times. If you're using it at the right moment, it's a really huge asset, and if you're using it at the wrong moments, it doesn't get the value out of it. So that's something to pay attention to when you're looking at the two Mercy players. What are they doing? Not just obviously healing, but how are they using their ultimates?
Alrighty. With that, I think we're ready to take it away.
We are ready to take it away. But guys, thanks for tuning in. Again, this is the playoffs, so we're at the end of Season 3 here. So unfortunately, if you're looking to get into some Overwatch action right now, season's already pretty much over for most of the teams. We got some great games coming up. But we will have Season 4, of course, so stay tuned to our Twitter and Discord. You can see all those links down below. Twitch.tv, twitter.com/OW University. So all the info will be there. And yeah, we should be good to go. Again, starting here on Nepal. just waiting for the map pool to start up. But yeah, I'm super excited for us to be able to roast our admins, Mukai Kubo, and Tormented by Gnomes. But we'll be heading right into game very shortly.
Traveling to Nepal.
Casters, take it away.
Alrighty, we are getting set for this first matchup. As we mentioned, on Nepal, we will be starting off on Sanctum, our first point. Actually, I say that, it's actually Shrine. Sanctum is, of course, the inside map. So we will be starting off on Shrine, I should say, the first map being in this quarterfinals between Budget C9 and Moosey Fate. So just a quick reminder, Moosey Fate in the red, Budget C9 in the blue for now, and getting ready. One thing I want to introduce our audience to here before we really get into the fight and the picks that each team is going for is just how important in this current patch that Mercy is. Mercy is not just a really good hero, but almost a must pick to win on a lot of these cases. Do you expect to see Mercy 100% of the time, or do you think the players will stray away from that?
I'd be surprised if we didn't see it a lot, especially when you have two Mercy players on either team, or a Mercy player on either team, two total for both teams. So especially with DG06 looking like he's going to pick Pharah, the pharmacy on this map especially, pretty good place to have it.
This is possibly one of the better maps in terms of that mentioned farm. Mercy is just so open, and honestly, the better part is that the point itself is actually remarkably open, so definitely some room for that kind of experimentation to work. But with that said, we are going to get directly into it as the two teams filter towards the point. We are seeing a semi-dive composition from the side of Budget C9, whereas Moosey Fate running a little bit more standard, running a little bit slower here as we see the Reinhardt Hog combination come out from the side of Moosey Fate as they go in through that mega health pack on top. Sinisher on high, gets hooked down from his precarious perch, but the first kill will actually go to Budget C9 as Enum comes in with a big double. There comes the resurrect from Slugslayer as they start to gain a little bit more value on the point as Echofoot just absolutely popping off on that McCree, as it's left to Sequoia to try and get a little bit more damage out, but it does not appear as they're going to find much. And with that, Budget C9 are going to back out just a little bit as they secede the point early on to Moosey Fate.
A pretty good decision too. You lose one of your big damage dealers pretty quickly in that fight. You actually have the switch come out for it as well. The one thing I think that was the big starter for that was Tormented by Gnomes getting that early pick, and he gets another hook here onto the Winston on the side of Cloud C9, or Budget C9, excuse me. Two players go down it quickly, but the res comes in. Sunny78 gets stuck in the shatter there. The charge coming in as well misses the mark. As Budget C9, this attack looks like they're going to have to back off again. Didn't quite get a whole lot out of that, as they kind of just got spread out.
One of the things that I really didn't expect there is that was a huge shatter. The side of Sequoia on Budget C9 got a great Dragon Blade off, at least initially it seemed, but Ninja Man just came around with a huge Earth Shatter, catching the remainder of the team, and Sequoia really had nothing to go off of. However, on this current fight, Sinisher on the backline, forcing the Valkyrie out of the side of Moosey Fate as Slugslayer doing what they can to stay alive to get the team up and running, but Echofoot already taken out. The Resurrect does come through. They do have that Deadeye right now, but Dual Revolver is going to go down, and this is going to spell very dangerous position here for Moosey Fate, it seems, as they continue to sort of filter off the point with another couple of kills coming in for Budget C9, as it's going to be the side of Moosey Fate electing to retreat and recollect themselves, with Budget C9 taking control. 70% to 5 in the meantime.
For DG06, he used a Riptire early on in that fight. He didn't get a lot of value out of it, LaFon, but he continued to follow up after it. That was the important thing. Even if you don't get value out of your Riptire, it's an ultimate that you can build up fairly quick. He's already to 58% right now. His team not sitting in too bad of a spot with 3 ultimates on their side, although it's even on the side of Moosey Fate as they come in now from the left side there as they go towards the point. Looking to his right was DG06 trying to not get caught by Revolver as he's able to take out Ninja Mad is DG06 as they win the early part of this fight, but Echofoot finding Sequoia Orange getting a little bit of help there. Sequoia quickly getting res. Ultimates haven't been used on either side here, LaFon, in this fight has gone in the favor of Budget C9, but you didn't lose too much, but you didn't force anything if you're the side of Moosey Fate.
Yeah, I'm thinking that's the same thing. Moosey Fate probably looking to go in with a dry run, just not getting value out of their push. They went in a little scattered and haphazard, and it allowed Budget C9 to just go in and just win the fight without any ultimates whatsoever. And if you're Budget C9, you'll more than happily take that. I do believe they did use Primal Rage at one point, as Sinosure is only at 10% currently, but a great hook by Enum knocks him off the point, and that means that there's no Resurrect available, and the boop comes through from Orange Loop. So this end bot to clean it all up. DGO6 with a single ultimate. They do get the Dragon Blade to get the remainder of the kills. A bit of an unnecessary overcommittal, but at that point, they are now up to a total of 80% on that point, and Budget C9 in a very good position.
Yeah, Sequoia, you wish he maybe didn't use that Dragon Blade because DGO6 got a lot of value out of that last Riptire. So this could potentially be the last fight here for Moosey Fate as they come up the stairs. Quick hook there early on that leads into the charge from Ninja Man, but the Death Blossom, nothing out of it. Slugslayer has to res Echo Foot. The overtime counter is started. Fight on the point. Deadeye coming out here. Gets 2 for Echo Foot. This could swing things back in the favor, but the Valkyrie ult on the side of Budget C9 keeps this one going as Red 2 come back in. But DGO6 on the Junkrat, finding 2. Fairly even here as this fight drags on. Still on 99%. The overtime ticker going down. DGO6 with another Riptire fairly quick. And Budget C9 going to hold it here as they will take point 1 on Nepal. Very good fight there at the end. It looked like there was a chance for Moosey Fate. They just couldn't finish it off.
Budget C9 coming back in. The ultimate rotation was a bit shaky on their part, but that said, they did get the frags they needed. They did get the kills they needed at the end, and that turned the fight in a way that perhaps I think Moosey Fate really wasn't expecting. They came in, they were down, I think, 1 or 2 players initially with that brilliant Deadeye from Echo Foot, but there just really wasn't any ability to really turn around and take advantage of those picks that happened. And Budget C9 coming away with the victory on point 1. Moving on to Sanctum, however, our second point, our second map on this best of 3 here on Nepal. The point obviously being the map being best of 3 with our best of 5 series. As we see the two teams posture up, getting ready to attack this center point. And we're seeing a bit of a change here on the side of Moosey Fate, dropping the Reinhardt and switching over to a Winston, perhaps seeing some ability for a Winston to get in the backline and do some havoc. He jumps right in, does Ninja Man Matt, and he's going to find the early kill, assisted by Torment by Nomas. Sinosure goes down, dual revolver on the back end, takes out Sunny78. Enum will filter back a bit with the Monkey going down, with Winston going down, but it's probably a little too late as Moosey Fate will take possession of the point, and Enum getting hooked off the map, just to add insult to injury.
Yeah, very good hook by Tormented by Gnomes. He's been really good. You know, we've been wanting to maybe barb him a little bit, but he's been playing well so far. So you can't really do that as he comes in here, and just as I say that, he gets taken out, and now maybe leaves an open opportunity for Budget C9 to go in on the back line. They quickly take out a couple, and Sinosure getting that Tesla cannon damage in, finishes off those last few, and they retake the point here. 24% built up, though, by Moosey Fate on that first push.
That fight all happened because DGO6 was able to take Mercy out of the tail end of that fight, and they retook a fight when Mercy or Slugslayer for Moosey Fate just wasn't in the picture. So without that mainline res or healing, Budget C9 was able to just walk in and take advantage of that. And with that, they're now starting to stagger Moosey Fate just a little bit as they had 2 early entry frags as Ninja Man Mad and Mukai Kubo thinking they saw something, but really unavailable as the entirety of C9 was there. Budget C9. And that's going to be a great turnaround as that's going to extend the time on the point.
Pay attention to Sequoia with a Dragon Blade up as well. See how they decide to use it here.
Here comes that whole hog from Tormented by Gnomes with a deep flag from Sequoia right in his face, and that means that Tormented by Gnomes is actually going to go down. And that's going to be a Primal Rage out from Ninja Man Matt as they see a couple of kills happening from Budget C9 as it's going to be the Resurrect coming through. Transcendence also used here from Moosey Fate as they look to perhaps see an opening here for themselves. But it's decided the 2 tanks are caught out. Mukai Kubo and Ninja Man Matt all caught out by themselves, and that looks like it's going to be them just going to go down. Echo Foot on point, does get a Deadeye out, but unfortunately no kills for him, and now he's caught out all by himself, and that's going to be Echo Foot going down. Dual Revolver getting 1 kill at the tail end of that fight, but will it be enough? It does not look like it, as Sequoia got resurrected right at the end of that fight.
And he got value out of his Dragon Blade. He got the Mercy down, and he made the Muki to got forced out due to the Dragon Blade as well. Had to back away, so he had no supports helping out the rest of the team there for Moosey Fate. Finally having an engagement here on the right side if they come out from their spawn. Damage coming in on either side, but neither team finding the kill yet. But Sinosure with the jump gets the kill there, but Dual Revolver switching onto that Junkrat, able to get one with the kill there, and then just going off the edge of the map there was Ninja Man Matt. So it's going to be Budget C9 holding here, but the overtime ticker does get started thanks to Tormented by Gnomes.
The Valkyrie in front of Slugslayer trying to keep this fight alive. Does get back to point in time. Tormented by Gnomes, unable to stay alive. Valkyrie comes in though, however, the res reset, or the res choke, and Sequoia flashbang, but unable to get the kill. Gets kill off an Echo Floyd instead, and that's going to spell disaster here. As Tormented by Gnomes knocked off the map, hooked off the map. Enum, with that whole hog coming out, it's going to put Slugslayer in a world of hurt, knocked away from the point, and killed eventually. Ninja Man Matt, the only one left alive, and with that, Enum will get the final blow. Budget C9 takes the victory here, a solid 2-0.
LaFon, I thought we saw some really good things from Budget C9. Their first push on the start of Nepal didn't go well. They tried the pharmacy, wasn't working. They saw what Moosey Fate was playing. They countered it. They didn't really counter it. They kind of matched it and then added a Junkrat, and that really started to be the difference. DG06 on that Junkrat did a lot of work and really made space for his team, and they end up taking this first map.
An excellent play by the side of Budget C9, to be sure. Some great... I do agree that they definitely came in. They had the better rotations. I thought they disengaged and re-engaged better as a team. I thought that there was definitely some issues here and there with some... in terms of... I think the first fight they took was kind of ill-advised, or maybe not as confident as perhaps they needed to. Then they just turned around and really came back and showed Moosey Fate the what for. They definitely came in and played as their dive composition. They had players going after the supports. I thought that the side of like Slugslayer had a very tough time in terms of showing the, like, in terms of really being able to get those meaningful resurrects that you need your Mercy to have. I just thought that Budget C9 outplayed Moosey Fate in that regard.
I think so, and I think part of it too, when you looked at Moosey Fate, was it seemed like they needed that Roadhog hook in order to really engage. That seemed to be like whenever they did win an engagement, it was because they got that early Roadhog hook by Tormented by Gnomes, and then they went in, and then they were able to win the 6v5. But if that didn't happen, there was just that poke, and then it didn't really there was never a good engagement that it would happen out of it, it seemed.
I think one of the other things is we saw there was a composition, a bunch of switches from both sides. We saw Dual Revolver playing everything from McCree to Reaper to Junkrat. And then, of course, there were, the Genji play from both sides, as there was, definitely some hero switches. I just thought that Budget C9's hero switches were more effective and better timed than the side of Moosey Fate. I thought that going in, they saw the fire. As we mentioned, the fire was picked, and it wasn't really effective. Echofoot got advantage early, and then they said, okay, we're going to switch to Junkrat, so that's what's going to happen. All right, with that said, map 1 down, our best of 3 being led currently by best of 5 being led by Budget C9, I should say. We do have our next map ready to go. It will be Eichenwald between these two teams. We have the ready signal, so away we do go. And map number 2 between these teams. Budget C9 defending first. Moosey Fate. We saw what they were able to do on Nepal. We saw some of their struggles, I think. What do you think they need to do to turn it around here? As we get said, they are attacking first, as mentioned. Do you think they'll run that slow composition we saw them open Nepal with, or will it phase that, or will it feature them better if they run a faster composition with the between these two teams?
It might help too, especially when you're talking about a map like Eichenwald. You can just really roll at the choke. You don't want to get stuck in just push it, just having that slow push there. And I'm more than 100. I'm 100% sure DG06 is going to stay on the Junkrat. So you know that's going to be coming, and that's still something that's also good if you're on attack in Eichenwald as well at the first point. So you've got to try and figure a way to break through that spam.
Eichenwald is one of those weird points where even before his buff, Junkrat was actually really good.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people didn't realize just how strong Junkrat's large amounts of spam could be. Especially against like super squishy heroes. We see those 200 HP or 150 HP in the case of Tracer. They get instantly deleted by Junkrat, essentially. You take one grenade, and then obviously you've got the 2 mines in the trap. Junkrat became sneakily good before he was even buffed, and with the buffs just changed him into absolute terror. And that's not even mentioning his Riptire and how fast and how strong it can be, of course, and how quickly it builds. So DGO6 staying on the Junkrat is something that I would expect, and so far it seems to be the case. And it's something that Moosey Fate is definitely going to have to keep in mind, as we mentioned here.
Leaving the
Reinhardt
spawn.
takes a huge beating from
They left from that
Junkrat.
right side too. That's there's still that DGO6 trap there that somebody, if they die, could get caught by.
We see that they're running Mukai Kubo posting up on this Pharah, something that Junkrat has a relatively, not difficult time, but is somewhat a counter to him necessarily. And this is going to start the first engage as a slightly discouraged or separated side from the attackers here, as Moosey Fate looking to find an ability, but DGO6 is going to burn through Tormented by Gnomes' mech. And with that, this is likely a reset here for Moosey Fate as they lose both their main tanks. But Slugslayer is going to get the Resurrect, and Orange Lube coming in with the 2 kills, meaning this fight is over for Moosey Fate. Back to spawn with them to reset, as it's going to be Budget C9 looking for that, taking that first minute or so off the clock.
And DGO6 did get taken out there right towards the end, but it's all right because you have the res. The Mercy going down in Slugslayer there when rezzing Ninja Man at was kind of a big thing because it just stalls them out even more as they go for this next push here. The Reinhardts meet each other right at the choke under that underpass, the overpass. Ninja Man Matt charging in, doesn't get any value out of it, just gets deleted by Orange Lube.
As we see that there's going to be, it looks like the Riptire was used, didn't get much value out of it, I don't think. However, DGO6 does manage to turn around, and Orange Lube is going to complete the kill on the mech. So Tormented by Gnomes, yet again, not really getting anything out of the mech, and it seems that this composition of the double shield tank from Winston and Reinhardt providing a lot of value here for Budget C9 is there's just no way for the side of Moosey Fate to really break through the shields. And Orange Lube coming in clutch with a good, a big triple kill. Or a delayed triple kill, I should say, as he went after the Reinhardt and got a top double after that. Sinisher will clean up Ninja Man Matt, and now down to a remain 2 seconds. And this puts Moosey Fate up against the clock in a rather, as they haven't even come close to even breaking this first choke point.
And LaFon, they've got to make a decision here. They've got to either go as a team and try and force their way through that choke, or they've got to switch up what they're doing to try and get through those shields. And they do have a lot of ultimates, which is good here, but you got to use them wisely to get through this choke. There's a lot of ultimates on the other side as well, as DGO6 takes out Muki Kaibo early on and is almost to that Riptire to give his team the full 6, which they do have. Orange Lube taking out Ninja Man Matt. The Earth Shatter coming in from Enum as he does get one. Transcendence comes out late, and that's going to just be used by Dual Revolver, and he gets stuck in a trap at the end, so he can't escape with it, and then he gets taken out.
Enum with the Snipe Fire Strike to end the team wipe. I want to say that Moosey Fate really here wasting their ultimates. That Transcendence was completely unnecessary. There was absolutely no way they were going to win that fight inside that Earth Shatter. They'd already lost a player. There was an odd thing, and now they're down to 4 ultimates here, and the side of Budget C9 really in a good position as they've got 3 ultimates and still working towards more. Here comes that self-destruct over the top. Will it find value? Doesn't capture anyone, but does force people out of position. DGO6 will go down. The Resurrect comes in. Valkyrie out from Slugslayer. That's a big Earth Shatter on the supports, and they're going to get a couple of kills here. Sunny78, 1 res. Will the Valkyrie come out? It does look like it will, as does the Transcendence from Orange Lube, as they're trying to keep possession on the point. However, there is some movement here as Budget C9 starting to lose players slowly but surely. Tormented by Gnomes flying up in the air, trying to survive away from that swinging hammer of Enum, the Reinhardt player for Budget C9. The shoulder charge comes through, but it's going to be Enum going down as the trickle starts here for Budget C9, as they're unwilling, it seems, to give up any point percentage, as they haven't even given up a tick yet. And Sequoia coming with a big double kill, and this is going to mean that this is likely to be Sinisher just doing what he can. They're going to force the Tactical Advisor out of the side of Moosey Fate, as DGO6 coming in with the Riptire. They are going to be in overtime now, and they're going to get a second tick, but Ninja Man Matt does go down, so this means that Mukai Kobo, the only thing standing between overtime and defeat, he does have to reset. They're coming back in. Slugslayer does manage to get back to get the Resurrect. Tormented by Gnomes is in, but they don't have any ultimates to work with here, and this is going to be very, very difficult to take back if Budget C9 is able to take possession on the point. Tormented by Gnomes must stay on the point, otherwise overtime will tick out in essence very quickly. They need to get back, and they do manage to save it. However, the kills are coming through for Budget C9 as Sequoia and Enum combining. Overtime ticking ever so slowly out, and this is going to be Enum swinging away. An Earth Shatter on the remaining play. He stepped off the point. No! Ninja Man Matt! This C9 is completed as Budget C9 able to take away a hold of only 2 ticks here
Switching sides.
for the side of the attackers. As it's ready for Budget C9, get set and get ready to perhaps take the second map here on Eichenwald.
Lafon, that last fight was so drawn out. I thought there was going to be an opportunity for Musi Fate to capture it. And then the great Earth Shatter that gets 4, but nobody on the point. He doesn't realize it, goes off, and that ends up ending the fight for his team. They did get 2 ticks, so they do have a chance still here to win this map, but they got to have to try and full hold. And you know that Mukai Kubo is going to go on to that Junkrat, and he's going to try and use basically what just happened to his own team by Budget C9 against them.
This is going to be, I guess we could say that it was actually a Budget C9, as the majority of the players had already died on Musi Fate's side, so they are just giving Budget C9 some screen time. We can be a little bit discerning there, I think. However, this is going to be the defending side for Musi Fate, as they stand, the only thing standing between them and a 2-0 deficit is 2 and a bit ticks here on this first point of Eichenwald. Keep in mind, this was Musi Fate's pick, so they felt comfortable and confident going into this map. And the fact that Budget C9 was able to turn around and really, not necessarily full hold them, but come awfully close to do so. Remember, that second tick was really an overtime push, where that was a long, drawn-out fight that was really unable to continue from a great. Again, DGO6 coming up clutch on this Junkrat with those Rip Tires. He came with a double kill, and Sequoia gave him all the remaining help he needed on that soldier. However, we are getting ready for the attack of Budget C9. They are going up against I don't want to say a cheese comp, but they are seeing a Bastion posted up here as Gnome in the corner, looking for some value, but DGO6 is going to get the initial kill, and that's going to be huge for Budget C9, as they're just going to flow into the point, and Mercy down. That is a very unfortunate regard, as that's going to be pretty much the entirety of Musi Fate going down. Mukai Kubo, the only one left alive. There's perhaps one more chance here for Musi Fate to get back, but will they even be able to? Tormented by Gnomes, not even able to get back to it, and Eichenwald on first push. Budget C9 taking that one with a final score of 1-0.
The one thing I want to point out there is, sure, you have that pick early on onto the Bastion, but the bigger thing was the Mercy was going in for the res and Slug Slayer and gets taken out before the res can come in. So you lose all that damage. You lose your one source of healing that's most important. That pretty much ended it there for Musi Fate on the map. And one thing I was a little surprised that we never saw from Musi Fate, especially when you knew that you're on Eichenwald, that you're more than likely going to see a Junkrat. Why not play Zarya? Why not give it a try?
I think they saw the Bastion perhaps was their one chance at showing, some sort of surprise to Budget C9. Mm-hmm. Budget C9 maybe being thrown off by that huge amount of damage, but with Tormented by Gnome just going down so quickly, that really worked against them. I mean, Budget C9 really just honestly overrunning Musi Fate in stunning fashion.
I mean, and the one thing that we had talked about earlier with that we wanted to see from Musi Fate when there was really kind of just this lull was that they never just went all in. One thing that you got to give credit to Budget C9, they just pushed through that choke. They didn't worry about the spam damage coming through. They knew that their supports were going to take care of it, and then they got the picks that they needed to just snowball.
I mean, Musi Fate hopefully being able to come back in these next matches. They are now down, of course, 2-0 in our best of 5. So they are looking into the void, as it were. And speaking of the void, the next map has a river in it, which I think is close enough.
If you fall into it,
let's take
I mean, listen, an icy river is a very close thing to an endless void. Let's be honest here. With that said, Volskaya Industries is our next map, and that's going to be that assault. So this is the last chance, again, another pick by Musi Fate. So this is again, perhaps something they're comfortable with. Will we see a Sombra? Something that we know, I mean, Volskaya Industries, not just in a somewhat ironic coincidence, the fact that the map of the hero ends up being one of her best maps. Do you think we'll see some Sombra here?
If they have somebody who can play it, yeah, this is a really good Sombra map. I'm not 100% sure if they have anybody comfortable on the side of Moosey Fate running a Sombra or on the side of Budget C9. I mean, for the one thing for Budget C9 that we've seen, when they find something that works, they stick with it and they just continue to roll until you make them switch off of it. So I don't think Budget C9 is really going to change from what they've been doing so far. It's worked so well. Why would you? Especially, this is another map, too, where you can play Junkrat. There's a good choke that you can spam through and some good places for Junkrat to hide and to hide traps. So I wouldn't be surprised if we continue to see Junkrat.
Our Div 5 Map 3, Division 5 Map 3 quarterfinals getting set as we get ready to load into our third map here in our best of 5. Currently, Budget C9 up 2-0 over Moosey Fate. Will Moosey Fate be able to turn it around and come back with the reverse sweep, or will Budget C9 complete the domination here against Moosey Fate? And honestly, this is one of the map. Assault is one of those map types that is considered one of the great equalizers. You can really stagger out a long amount of time, and just it's a really frustrating mode to play in and play against. I think this is definitely one of Moosey Fate's ability. Like, this is going to be the place where they. I mean, obviously, it being the third map in a best of 5 down 2-0, they have to turn it around here. But if there was ever a game mode that they could do so, this would be it.
This definitely is they're probably going to be their best opportunity, at least so far, that they're going to show us. But you know exactly what you're more than likely going to see out of the side of Budget C9. You haven't found something that has worked too well yet. What do you decide to go with, I think, is the biggest question for Moosey Fate. You know you're going to see the Junkrat more than likely. I don't know if they don't have anybody comfortable on Zarya, but Zarya is such a strong pick if used correctly against the Junkrat, because he can just build up so much charge and so much ultimate that you can do a lot of damage. You can tear right through a team if played correctly. I guess the question is, do you have somebody you're comfortable playing it? And from what it looks like, maybe not.
I think one thing that Moosey Fate could perhaps benefit from is just playing fast. Right now, they're playing a little bit slower, and it seems that they're just not coordinated in that section. They're running, their tanks are playing in a certain area, their DPS are playing in a certain area. It might make it better, it might be easier for them, or perhaps more worthwhile for them to play quicker, play that dive composition, and just go all in all the time. Rather than, playing the slower composition where it's a lot easier, especially in this current patch where a pick doesn't really mean a whole lot. Take advantage of that kind of speed and momentum. However, that said, we are getting set on Volskaya Industries, this first attack. They are posting up with that slower composition, with that Reinhardt. As mentioned, Tormented by Gnomes play it. An early kill comes in. Mukai Kubo is going to come in with the early kill. DGO6 will go down, so that Junkrat spam is away. Sunny78 unable to get any sort of positioning, and that means that this is going to be a really good first attack here for Moosey Fate as they take out Mercy, and the side of Budget C9 does not have that kill in return, so they will hold up on points. Sequoia forced to contest, and this is going to be a reset here for the side of Budget C9 as Orange Loop the only one left alive here, and they will end up losing point A on first attack.
Mukai Kubo getting that early kill on Soldier 76 is such a big momentum swing for his team. They have the chance here to maybe try and snowball this. You will have, for Budget C9, they are going to get into position before this next fight. But I think that you have to be happy when you can get that Junkrat out and then get a quick kill afterwards. You force the Mercy to make a decision. Who are you going to res? And that's what we saw happen there, too, for Budget C9. So now here, the attempt on point B for the first try for the Moosey Fate as they come right through the middle here, jumping in and then coming back. Ninja Matt finding Orange Lube. That's an early good quick pick by the Reaper. He gets taken out and deleted quickly by Enum, but his team's still coming in behind. That res might be coming out here in just a second. You'd have to imagine that the counter's close. Echo Foot and Mukai Kubo finding the kill. Sunny having to res Sinosure. Big shatter gets one there, and that leads to the rest of the follow-up. Tormented by Gnomes with the good shatter, and Mukai Kubo's visor finishes them off. They've got 3 ticks here. Are they going to be able to hold off anybody from getting in? And they will. They get the quick 2-0. 6 minutes on the board. That's a way to bounce back if you're Moosey Fate, LaFon.
I want to say just a shout out right there to Winston on the side of Moosey Fate. Echo Foot just absolutely causing havoc there. There was perhaps a chance for the side of Budget C9 to get in a quick contest, but with a giant Winston in their face at the spawn doors, there was really no room for them to walk in. And of course, we're seeing a bit of a composition change up here. Ninja Man Matt was originally playing the Reinhardt, on the other maps and a switch over to the Reaper, and he walked in and got an initial early kill on Zenyatta on Orange Loop. Sunny78 was unable to get the Resurrect out in time, and they just weren't able to continue to stagger, so they just gave up the point for basically nothing as Ninja Man Matt walked in, teleported in, assassinated Orange Loop, and just walked out. Did die, but he did manage to get them the point regardless.
I think the big thing, too, is Mukai Kubo. We saw him on Zenyatta at the start, then we saw him playing Pharah. Now we see him on the Soldier, and maybe this is one of his more comfortable heroes. It seems like it, because he has been a big difference maker on that Soldier. Him and Ninja Matt have made a big difference as far as the DPS has gone. And Tormented by Gnomes, his Earth Shatters with the Reinhardt have been helping out his team a lot, too. I think they finally have found something where everybody's really comfortable, and that just makes a big difference as well, regardless of whether you're on meta or not. Are you comfortable knowing what you're playing?
It certainly seems so, and this, at least on this map, they had
Right.
This looks like an entirely different team than the first two maps. So, is this the time where Budget C9 is in for a challenge here, or will Musi Fate, will they be able to hold on the defense here? They had a pretty stellar attack, but can they defend now on this defensive on this second side of the map on Volskaya Industries? With that said, we are seeing a very defensive hold here from the side of Musi Fate as they look. Budget C9 looking in. They're running pretty much a mirror composition, although a Junkrat Genji for the DPS heroes. But otherwise, the teams are setting up. Echofoot jumps down immediately to try to contest. They don't want to give up any space whatsoever. Jumps right back out at nearly 0 HP, but Dual Revolver is being besieged right now by Cynosure, as it's going to be trades coming through here. However, on this first point, that definitely benefits the offense more than the defense. And Echofoot coming in. It's going to be a couple of kills. The Mercy does go down, so it looks like Budget C9 gaining more value here as they look like to take out pretty much everyone. Dual Revolver, the only one left alive until Ina remedies that with a long-range fire strike. And they will take point one also on the first attack. So it will be Budget C9 setting up for their attack on point B, and they do have that 7 minutes. So both teams with a very fast point A capture. But how will they fare on point B?
The biggest question here, I think, for Musi Fate after that first one is, how do you defend? They kind of got spread out, and that, I think, led to a lot of the deaths. As they come in here, Ninja Matt using the Wraith form to get out, as his team kind of pokes as Budget C9 tries to make their way through the choke. Enum getting close, but his shield quickly taken out because Dual Revolver went on to the Bastion, takes out Enum. Sunny has to use the res to keep him up. Coming in now here, Enum getting one with the charge onto Dual Revolver. Sequoia finding the follow-up, uses the Dragon Blade here to try and get a couple of extra kills.
Sunny78 using that Valkyrie to keep them all alive as Echofoot jumps off to get the reset here. They perhaps have one chance to get back and contest. Tormented by Gnomes trying to do what he can, but he gets charged away. Dual Revolver just standing still. It seemed like something had happened there. However, they finish also on their first attack here at round 2, as we are going to go to a third round with both teams having more than 6 minutes with which to complete their attack. Only a 3-second difference indeed.
Wow, that was well, Tormented by Gnome said do-over. Well, you get it because you both basically have the same amount of time. I was really surprised that was going to go the way it did. You had such a good start for Musi Fate. You get down Enum, the Reinhardt, and usually that's the time when as a team you have to go all in. And I don't think the follow-up just happened quick enough afterwards. It allows for the res to come in by Sunny, and then they just get right back to 6v6, and they win the 6v6.
This seems to be something. If you don't rotate your support ultimates properly on second defense, and it's something that neither team has really done, I would say Budget C9, they didn't have them, to be fair, on the first attack, and on second attack, or on defense for Musi Fate, they just rotated their ultimates out. They're running this Bastion, and Bastion really needs to be played around. They haven't really been doing that. So will that change here as they're going to run it again here on the defensive side as they get set for the second defense, but with 6 minutes, or more than 6 minutes, just over it, almost like a map reset. Regardless, here comes the team of Budget C9. They're choosing to run a Pharah. perhaps seeing that long-range projectile damage to try and just, knock Dual Revolver out of position. Sinosure in the backline on Sunny 78. Will he get able to get out? No. He gets rotated on immediately, and Echo Foot, World of Hurt does manage to use that leap to get back to his team. However, he does go down. The Resurrect will come through immediately, and Dual Revolver with a brilliant view of the point, running as much damage as possible. Eno with the flying charge, and that's going to be the Mercy down. So neither Mercy in the fight, as Tormented by Gnome turns the favor on that shoulder charge, and this is just an all-out brawl here on the point, as it's going to be continuous damage. DGO6 just in the air, trying to do what he can to just, rain it out. Mukai Kubo will go down to the Pharah, but DGO6 will have to reset here as Tormented by Gnomes, swinging away on the point, does manage to turn the fight in his team's favor.
Good job by DGO6 to get out of there. He had a giant angry monkey coming at him and able to get away. So coming in here now, he's able to get back his team, put some splash damage onto Tormented by Gnomes. Now trying to get some damage on the Slug Slayer. Team fight happening on the point right now. The Death Blossom by Ninja Man Matt gets 2. That's a good start here for Moosey Fate. The res coming in onto Enum, who uses the Shatter, but the bubble by Winston was down, and Enum charges off the side, and that'll give the fight to Moosey Fate here as they continue to hold. I'm a little surprised that we saw DG go to the Pharah. He did so well with the Junkrat on that first fight last time they were on attack.
DGO6 really, absolutely choosing a different hero. The one thing I will mention is that Budget C9, seeing an opportunity, they were not able to get the reset in terms of the heroes back for Moosey Fate. They didn't have all their players back, but they still came back in off proper ultimate rotations and really took advantage of Budget C9 as Ninja Man Matt, we mentioned there with a huge Death Blossom. They didn't even give up a single tick. DGO6 with a Rocket Barrage from on top is going to get 3. Sinosure going to clean up the 4th. And that means that Echo Foot is the only one left between them and the point. Does use the Primal Rage to stall it out. He's going to jump up and down, just trying to keep them, burn time off that clock. Not even really, still about half HP left. He will get killed eventually, but they do take a good 3 minutes off that point as they get set here for point 2.
I was really curious to see Mukai Kubo was starting to come back in, but he decided he was going to just stay at point B. He might have been able to stall out a little bit longer. He probably would have been able to get back in for the next fight if he did. The rest of his team was there that could have stalled out. So we'll see if that decision, that little bit of his stall will come in and matter or not. Coming along the right side, DGO6 getting into a fight with the Reaper and Ninja Man Matt. He takes him out. Now has his Mercy to come help and heal him out as they work their way onto the point. Brutal Revolver getting 2 with the Bastion though, but the res is coming in. Couple ults on either side. The Valkyrie ult used by Slug Slayer to keep Moosey Fate here. And just gonna back out here is Budget C9 and look to attack again.
One of the things to mention there is that the side of Budget C9, or sorry, I should say Moosey Fate, running with a solo healer. They're only running that Mercy in terms of the ability to get those mainline heals. So they are, of course, a little bit less, if they don't have that support, they're really kind of out there in terms of what they're able to keep themselves up with. With that said, here comes that second play. Is diving in is Echo Foot. Doesn't really find what he's looking for. An Earthshatter comes through, but it's blocked by a bubble. The shoulder charge will come through, however, by Gnomes, and that's going to mean an early kill comes through. The Resurrect and the Dragon Blade. Sequoia forced to deflect, however, as he gets another kill with that Sound Barrier at his back to keep him just alive and healthy. DGO6 with the Rocket Barrage in the back line there, doing what they can. This is going to be a couple of kills now for C9, and it's going to be Moosey Fate slowly but surely trickling back in. They're getting enough here in terms of trades to continue stalling it out. Sequoia does get another kill. Back to point is Dual Revolver. Ninja Man Matt doing just enough damage so Dual Revolver can get that kill off on Sinosure. However, this is definitely trades favoring the defense. The offense here now only down to 3. Orange Loop will get 1, but is it enough? Orange Loop the only one there. Mukai Kubo coming through with that Tracer respawn will get the kill. It's going to be Budget C9 continuing the trickle, but it looks like this fight is nearly over as Sunny 78 will go down. Enum trying to retreat here as Budget C9 unable to get even a single tick. off that fight.
I think Budget C9 just disengaged a little bit too late. They actually wasted maybe about a minute, minute and a half by waiting as long as they did to do so. Sure, they're going to get grouped up again, and they didn't stagger out too bad, but they could have saved a little bit of time here. It looked like that was a winnable fight for them, too. They were smart in their ult usage. They got the Bastion out of the way. Just that, like you said, with 2 CP, you can sometimes just stagger out that perfect way and still stall and get back into it with the team on defense.
Ninja Man Matt caught out yet again, and he's going to go down early. This is a very unfortunate case as the first double kills are going to come through. Sequoia gets a big one on the solo Mercy. This is going to spell near disaster for the side of Moosey Fate as Budget C9 is going to wipe the kill feed here. And they're going to post her up, trying to set up. Ninja Man Matt does get back with the teleport, jumps off, but he's going to be killed immediately. Unable to even get the Wraith out. Here comes the Valkyrie. Slugslayer does dodge the Earth Shadow. What a brilliant play. Gets the Resurrect back in time. They are able to contest. Slugslayer staying in that air, getting those heals off. Ninja Man Matt. Sequoia out with the Dragon Blade. The Dragon Blade into the Earth Shatter. Sound Barrier, however, comes through. Orange Lou keeping his team alive for the moment. The kills are happening for C9's favor. As here comes out the Death Blossom and the Blizzard, but they do capture 3/4 of the point. DGO6 gets his ultimate hit by the Fire Strike, so the Riptire down. The brawl continues. Budget C9 still getting kills, however.
Yeah, they're still getting kills. They're still keeping the point going, so they're at least going to take time off here. But Budget C9 still with plenty of players on the point. Mukai Kaibo stalling out for as long as he can. Coming right back in there just at the end was Ninja Man Matt. Finally gets taken out, but it's a long enough for Dual Revolver to get on. Use the Ice Block. Let the Mercy Res from Slugslayer get in. DGO6 takes out the Mercy, but Echo Foot following up with there as well.
The Earth Shadow comes through from Torment by Nose. He's going to hit down Enam. Enam unable to get back. Gets back to the point in time. 98.4%. Overtime is in effect. DGO6 with a double kill. Enam with 2 more. The Riptire comes through. The capture as well. And a round 3 complete, although it takes them the full 6 minutes and 2 seconds in which to do so.
What a fight we had at the end there, though. Give a lot of credit to Budget C9 to fight through that, get that one finally at the end. But also a lot of credit to Moosey Fate as well to stall out the way that they did. I mean, that last little bit by Ninja Man Matt to allow for Dual Revolver to come back onto the point with the Mei and Ice Block allowed for the res, allowed that team fight to continue. If that doesn't happen, there's still probably time on the clock for Budget C9.
Budget C9 now. It's their turn. They have 6 minutes and 5 seconds between themselves and the semifinals. However, Moosey Fate, the same can be said, and they continue this series. Will they continue and bring back the effect, or will this be a round sweep? As it's going to be the side of let's take a quick look at, or let's take a quick discussion, I should say, on what Budget C9 did. Or what Moosey Fate did on the defense there that they hadn't done the first one to really rotate the respawns and able to stall out that much longer. I think one thing I want to see is Ninja Man Matt just a couple of times there has cost his team a little bit by being a little bit out of position, dying early on the fight in a place where he cannot get the Resurrect off. And I think that's really costed Moosey Fate at least a little bit here.
His aggressiveness, when you're that aggressive, it either pays off or it hurts your team horribly, and he's kind of had that mix of both of those happening here. We'll see how it goes in this first fight for his team here. Tormented by Gnomes leading the way with his shield. His team deciding to go around to the left, rotating over. Eventually will have to be Budget C9 as they're coming out the door. The charge coming in from Enam didn't get anybody with it, but Sinosure following up behind to get Mukai Kaibo out of the picture. He has to get rezzed right back quickly, but the kills coming in from Budget C9. Mukai Kaibo now doing damage in that position of power up top, but all of his team is gone. They're going to have to either try and stall out here, and DGO6 not going to allow that to happen as they start to attack.
Raining down damage inside a tight, closed room, something the Junkrat excels in, and we see why. The kill comes through, the rotation happens, and Ninja Man Matt caught out alone on what might as well be an island. Will he be able to get out? His team just unable to provide the support, and there he goes. This is going to delay Moosey Fate a little bit longer here, as you got 3 players caught out. That's a whole push ended, essentially.
And that's the tough part about going through an area where there's not many options of escape. You're going to get stuck if the rest of your team doesn't get with you as well. If they had a little more speed, they probably all could have made it there and maybe have been fine.
With that said, we see that this is going to be Musifate posting up, trying to walk in here. They do put that bubble down, but here comes that Riptide from DGO6. Will it get value? Comes into this tight room. It picks up 2 as Enum will clean the remainder off as Slugslayer gets shoulder charged out. And that's going to be another push out as DGO6 gets the remainder of the cleanup there. Dual Revolver just caught out alone, and his fellow Zen will end his misery as Musifate now starting to perhaps, be a little bit worried as they lose 2 minutes here on this attack.
They just keep getting split up. I think it's the biggest thing that we've seen here so far. So you have to figure out a way to stay together. You actually have Budget C9 kind of spread out. This is something you can maybe take advantage of here. They're going to have to try and do so. Ninja Man Matt looks like they're going to go towards the left again. At least Ninja Man Matt has the Discord Orb on him as well. He gets stuck in a trap. He'll go down early. The Earth Shatter coming in didn't get any value out of it. It looked like as DGO6 still taking players out. Sunny78 going to have to use the Rise here. Echo Foot using the Winston ult to try and get some more damage, and Musifate still pushing their way through as the trades back and forth will favor them. They finally get onto the point here using the Primal Rage to delay things though, and Sequoia coming back in as it looked like Musifate was going to have the opportunity here, and they still will. They just have to get rid of this Winston here.
Sinosure now down to his last 100 HP or so, so he will be taken out by the shotguns of Ninja Man Matt. But a very unfortunate scenario there for Budget C9 as Enum, instead of shattering the team, shattered a wall as there was a well-timed boop. But Ninja Man Matt comes in with that Death Blossom, does enough damage to assist Mukai Kubo in the kill of Sunny78, and they're going to capture point A as they get ready for point B here, now only with 3 minutes left. And they do have to make a turn here, as this is the last point between them and defeat. So now getting ready. They don't really have much to work with here. Dual Revolver switching over to Bastion, as they are now set back up in this solo support life. Interesting choices here from Musifate.
If they're not paying attention for Budget C9, this can work because you have that Bastion coming around. And if you're not expecting it, he can tear through a couple of players, especially pay attention to where Enum is. His team isn't going to be able to be behind a barrier if that Passion can get set up.
A great early pick by Ninja Man Matt, tormented by no shoulder charges into a trap. That is, will Dual Revolver be able to do much? The Resurrect comes out. Ninja Man Matt with another kill. Dual Revolver will go down as Orange Loop from afar, but he will be killed as well. They are now up to a full tick, probably going to get a second. Can Mercy get back? Sunny78 unable to get the res, gets it out just in the nick of time. Sequoia the only one left alive, as Sinosure only slowly making it back. Tactical Visor out now here from Mukai Kubo, and from range, the shotgun's taking out another kill. Enum the only one left alive, forced out of mech already. They already have 2 ticks. Transcendence not in time. Here comes the Valkyrie from the attacking side as Sunny78 looking down on the battlefield, just trying to damage boost what he can. The heals also. DGO6 the only one left alive. He's going to go against the Pistol Mercy. Will the kill come through? Yes! Slugslayer picks up a kill to assist his team. The Earthshatter out. It's going to be another kill. This is looking very, very good now here for Musifate as they turn in, swinging away. Tormented by Gnomes does miss his shoulder charge, but Enum is in a struggle as he's forced out of mech immediately. The ticks come through. The contest does not. And we are tied here, up at 4-4. Musifate, though. 1:41 left on the clock.
Getting a final attempt here, just have to get 33%. Good work by Musifate. You at the very least, you're forcing this to go to a control point map, a sudden death. So that's the one thing that they can take away here for Musifate. But they want to win this map here, and I think that they're going to be able to do it. We'll see what they decide to pick, but some good work there, and you've got value out of Dual Revolver on the Bastion. That was one of the big things I think that helped out there. They didn't expect it, and you could see, and he was able to get out the damage.
Again, though, a tale of support ultimates.
Yeah.
There just wasn't, the Transcendence wasn't there in time for the side of Budget C9, and the Valkyrie also just not getting value from the Resurrect. So support ultimates definitely have been key here. Slugslayer turned it on, got a double kill, or sorry, a double res with the Valkyrie, and then on top of that, killed got a kill in the May there to end the stagger. That was a well-timed play, so a good Mercy play there from Slugslayer. And this is going to be exactly 1/3 of a point between Musifate and, Budget C9 looking for that draw, as mentioned. But Musifate definitely in a better position now than they were earlier, as we are getting set. This is going to be a defensive Bastion here from Budget C9. So we're going to get ready and set to see. They're going to set up here on this mega health pack is DGO6.
Not a bad position as they look for this first fight here for Musi. For Musi Fate as they're coming in along the right side. Jumping up top was Echo Foot as he's trying to get onto the Mercy in Sunny. As DGO6 on the Bastion, putting some damage out, but Echo Foot will find the support, and then Sequoia, though, will find Slug Slayer, but Sequoia quickly getting taken out, but Sunny 78 still up and able to keep him in the fight.
DGO6 here needed to get a couple more kills, but he does go down, and this means that this is almost certainly going to be Musi Fate taking the map as they're going to wipe away the entirety of Budget C9. Enum, the only one left alive, and with that Cynosure, with that Discord Orb, and that spells defeat here for Budget C9 as dual revolver in the trap. The contest comes through, but it's not going to be enough, and Musi Fate will take Volskaya Industries with a final score of 5-4.
And it looked so good at the start of that fight, too, for Budget C9. You get those early picks that you want to get. You get Slug Slayer out of the fight, but it wasn't enough. It didn't matter.
This is going to be the play of the game. We see that big hammer being swung away. Gets the Earth Shatter off, and that's going to prevent anyone from contesting. Budget C9. Just, falling down. And Musi Fate coming with a well-earned victory, I think. There from that map in Volskaya Distance. We called it earlier. I said it earlier, assault maps are the great equalizer for teams in, we see these long, drawn-out brawls. And for once, though, we didn't see that many. The fights were very, very quick in terms of what was and what wasn't available.
Yeah, especially there at the end. The earlier fights on that map for Volskaya, we had some really drawn-out ones, especially when we were hitting the overtimes. When you look at it for Musi Fate, I think that it was a good bounce back win for them still. I think sure, 2CP we call the great equalizer, but I think that they'd made the right decisions in order to be able to bounce back.
I want to highlight here. I think a standout player throughout this entire series has been DGO6 on that Junkrat. But this time around, the unorthodox positions or choices from Musi Fate really gave it to Budget C9. They looked almost kind of, I don't want to say lost, but almost like they didn't quite know who to react to first. What between the the Reaper and the Bastion, that's just the sheer amount of damage that came through from Musi Fate.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to put it, because if you're paying too much attention to the Reaper, the Bastion's going to tear through you, vice versa. And when those things happen, how often do you see a Reaper Bastion comp anyways is part of it? That's not a comp that you really plan for. So I think that's something that can help if you're Musi Fate, when you can throw things like that and find a team off balance, because it's something that they're not used to.
One other thing I want to talk about is, and I mentioned this a couple of times in between fights, there is that support ultimates are so valuable. They can often spell the difference between a complete wipe and winning a fight. So with that said, when you don't have the number of supports that I thought Musi Fate would definitely struggle a little bit more with that solo support, but they made it work.
Yeah, they did, and they protected their one support, I think, was one of the big things. They kept Slug up, and when you can keep him up, he's going to continue to heal, and he's going to build a lot of ult. There's nobody to steal ultimates from him, and with just how powerful the Valkyrie ult is right now, he's going to be able to build up a lot of those. And I think that's one of the things you saw, too, is we saw a lot of Valkyrie ults out of Slug, and that can really swing things in your favor, too, because there's no rotating defensive ults. There's one ult, and it's sort of defensive, but it's not when you're looking at the other side of Budget C9, where you do have one ult that is more defensive, and then you have your Mercy ult, where it is important to have those two things, knowing when you're going to use one and when you're going to use the other.
A good show so far. We do have our next map here in this series. It will be Watchpoint Gibraltar. So for the first time in this entire matchup, we do see Budget C9 with the pick, and we're going to head to that. Musi Fate electing to attack first, and that's going to be Budget C9, of course, now in the blue, Musi Fate in the red. So that will be continuing, of course. We are going to make sure to see when the teams are ready. So we will get ready into those maps as soon as possible.
It's really interesting to me that Musifate decides to attack first. I mean, you have that opportunity. Usually you want to defend first, know what you have to get, but they're deciding to attack first. It's a very we talked about unorthodox with the Bastion Reaper comp. Well, this continues to be unorthodox here now with that Lafon.
All right, just waiting, of course. Okay, so this is going to be just a quick reminder for our audience. This is, of course, our 4th map. The current series lead is Budget C9 2-1, as it's going to be Budget C9 taking the first map, Nepal, and the second map of Eichenwald, and Musifate coming back with a resounding throbbing, I think, on the or beating on that last point, which was much more surprising. I think the defense really it was a match between, it's what we call in hockey a good old pawn game where everyone just went all the way, multiple goals, just ridiculous play, as was a final score of 5-4 on that map for Musifate. And that was, just exciting to watch.
It really was. It's very back and forth. 2CP, even though people can't stand it, it's always exciting. It always just seems to be that way, doesn't it? And I enjoy the throws to hockey there as well, by the way.
As a huge Canadian, as a huge fan from Canada, I don't think I can't not bring up hockey at some point. It's just it's too easy.
Right. I am completely okay with that because it was just not maybe 6-7 months ago I was broadcasting hockey, so I'm okay with that completely.
Yeah, what do you guys think was? I mean, that's pretty stark change between Nepal, Eichenwald, then Volskaya. Like, kind of came to a screeching halt as soon as they 6 minute of them. Even though Budget C9 came back with another 6 minute take as well, it just felt like a completely different team that we saw there.
I think that's actually correct. I think a completely different team is in fact what we did see. Musifate, one thing I called out on Volskaya specifically, but it was much more evident in the other maps, is that there were some overextensions on the side of Musifate, on Nepal, on Eichenwald. There were some positioning errors on both those maps. And on Volskaya Industries, while they still existed, while those errors still were there, they were toned down quite a bit. And that meant that DGO6 and Orange Lube on the Zen specifically weren't able to get those early entry frags, especially when in a place where Mercy just couldn't resurrect them. And I think that definitely helped Musifate a lot. If you're down a fight, it doesn't matter if the resurrect is available because you can't use it. Otherwise, the Mercy will just die. So I think Musifate really turned that around. They really made sure if they were going to die early, they were in line of sight or in a place where Slugslayer could really get to them and get that resurrect off. I think alternately, the other thing was really good was that they were able to get, just a composition that burnt through the sheer shield pressure that Budget C9, both of these teams were showing. I mean, we saw Reinhardt Winston, and both of these teams now are running shield destruction compositions, right? Like we see the Bastion on the side of Musifate. It just burns through the Winston shield. It burns through the Reinhardt's shield. On the side of Budget C9, they're running the Pharah, they're running the Junkrat. That they're really showing that they can burn through the shields, and therefore the main tanks are not nearly as effective as they were, I think, in games 1 and 2 specifically. When you're running that Winston Reinhardt, if you don't have either close quarters combat where you can just bypass the shields entirely, or you're not, speeding into the team to take the fight initially, and you're trying to do range damage, you better have a lot of range damage. And I think in the first 2 games, Budget C9 just won by a whole lot. I remember back in Season 2, we used to talk about the shield war, right? That's sort of who won the shield battle between Reinhardts. We're sort of seeing that here, except in a greater amount because we're running 2 shields, 2 barrier heroes. And I think in Volskaya Industries specifically, Musifate came out on top.
I think part of it too is we saw some very good alt usage by the tanks as well. I mean, Tormented by Gnomes, his alt on their first attack, if he doesn't have that alt off, that's probably a stall out there, and we could be talking about a completely different this game could be over because they could have gotten stalled out there, and then they're still trying to push on that 6 minutes. Then they're behind the 8 ball, and that forces the onus to be on them. The fact that he was able to get that ult is a big game changer because it allows his team to use their ults and eliminate them quickly, and they get that big 6:05 time that they had. The other thing, too, is you saw a lot of switching of players on roles in the first 2 maps. You kind of finally saw it start to slow down towards the end of Eichenwald, and now we've seen for Moosey Fate, they've been staying with these players on the roles that they're on now. I think that was one of the big things, too, was having the right people on the right roles, and sometimes that's what happens. I don't know if there's subs playing today or not, but that could be a factor in here as well for Moosey Fate.
I'm glad you brought that up because that's definitely something I wanted to mention as well, is that we're seeing Budget C9, their roles are set, right? We see their DPS players, we see their tank players, we see their support players, and they're always playing those roles. There's some sort of, coordination expected by it, especially when you consider that these players have been playing, 5 matches, I believe? Maybe it's either 5 or 6.
Yeah.
It's 5 matches because you get due to seeding in some areas, you may get one other. Regardless, Budget C9 seems to have a consistent and concrete lineup where they have exactly what they're supposed to be playing. On the side of Moosey Fate, I don't know if that's the case, but as mentioned, they're running all over the place. Tormented by Gnomes has played everything from DPS to main tank to off tank. And then, Ninja Man Matt doing the same thing, switching from the main tank position in Reinhardt to a Reaper. I think so far the only one who's been consistent in the role they've selected has been Slugslayer, who's been playing Mercy. And I mean, we already know in this current patch what that means. You're not going to have a Mercy.
And you're going to have your best Mercy player on Mercy too, because of how important it is.
Absolutely. So that I think that's something. I think Mukai Kubo also was playing DPS nearly the whole time, but. Aside from those 2 heroes that have been outlined, there have been quite a few switches. So being able to see that,
he started on Zenyatta, so he has switched, and then he played. He was on Pharah, but then he started playing the Soldier, and he finally got value out of what he had. He didn't get a whole lot of value out of the Pharah, but the Soldier he really did. And just looking at their roster here for the people that they have playing here today, you have Tormented by Gnomes. He's listed as a support. He hasn't played Zenyatta yet in this game. So he's not even playing on role for what they have him listed down as. Echo Foot is listed as a DPS. He's been playing Winston. We have Slugslayer, the only one who's really played sort of the position that they said support. Ninja Man was on Reinhardt as what he was listed. He's been playing Reaper. And then you had 2 flexes in Revolver and Mukai Kaibo, and that's what they've been doing. They've been flexing.
All right, so I mean, Moosey Fate, can they break something here? Will they bring that tie as we get ready for Watchpoint Gibraltar? This map has been, I want to say, one of my favorites since Overwatch has released, and it's undergone a couple of changes actually. I don't know if you remember back in the day, there used to be an extra checkpoint underneath the server room, the little bridge here that is considered, and they did remove that when they changed some of the spawn algorithms, I believe, or the spawn time or something. There was a balance change that was changed back in the day, and that allowed they did remove that. So this map, I have good memories of this map.
Same here.
Some good plays here.
It's one of those maps too where, with that change, when they did remove that checkpoint down below, it's made this first push, that initial push, very interesting because when you get close to those doors, it becomes very favorable for the defensive team, and you see full holds on Watchpoint Gibraltar quite a bit, but you also see a lot of full pushes as well. So it's one of those maps that seems to kind of have this balance where either of those things can happen and they can roll either way really quickly. It's one of the longer first pushes too.
That's absolutely the case, and I think the one thing I love about Watchpoint Gibraltar is for a map with such a large amount of, it's both relatively open and has a lot of high ground, something you don't really see in a whole lot of maps. So this map definitely favors a lot of the more quick vertical heroes that I so enjoy watching. And one thing that we see sometimes is opening with a Widowmaker that happens here on this first point, but it doesn't look like this will be the case early on, as we're seeing a defensive dive composition from our budget C9s.
Very
Looks like they're
bread and
taking.
butter for both teams.
Yeah, it looks like they're taking a very aggressive hold as Dual Revolver is being pressured by those rockets from D.Va from the side of Budget C9 as Enum looking to find some early damage or perhaps a kill. And this is going to spell the first dive as Echofoot's going to come in on DGO6. The res will come through and Sequoia picks up a kill as well. Tormented by Gnomes will, unable to really support his team, gets forced out of the play as hits him in the tank on the backline as Enum forced out of mech. So Tormented by Gnomes, just pressuring what they can. The cart has moved a significant amount, but it does not look like it's going to be enough here as Tormented by Gnomes is going to be taken out of pilot form and then back to the spawn room as it's going to be a reset here for Moosey Fate.
And that was, you had that good early pick, but then the res comes in, and it seemed like after they took out DGO6, they didn't know who they wanted to go for next for Moosey Fate. Is Sequoia finding a pick there on a Ninja Man Matt. That gives the early favor here to the side of Budget C9. They're fighting in that room up top now as Mukai Kuba will find Orange Lube to get one kill. Orange Lube quickly res back. The Valkyrie all coming out too, very quickly built up by Sunny78 to keep his team alive here and keep on fighting. But Tormented by Gnomes will get a kill here along with Echofoot as they try and get this cart back onto this cart and push. As Moosey Fate still fairly even on either side. As spawning back in finally, it was DGO6, and he'll have to try and make his way back. But by the time he gets here, his team might get cleaned up before that. As there goes in the self-destruct to push them back.
Self-destruct, not really finding anything, but does zone the players out, so they're going to get a little bit more room here. And it's going to be the side of Moosey Fate pushing up aggressively into these doorways, trying to get a couple more kills so to prevent the stall out from Budget C9. Here comes the sound barrier from the defense. However, Cynosure in far ahead. He's going to get value out of it. Sunny78 will get the resurrect as DGO6 does get the whip tire out. And that's going to mean that there's going to be a couple of kills coming in here. And Moosey Fate are left out alone. They're just the main tanks left alive. Tormented by Gnomes caught out in no man's land. And he's going to be stuck out of mech here. Will they, kill him right away or will they stall him out? Looks like they will stall out the poor D.Va just a little bit there. And again, Moosey Fate forced to reset.
Sequoia, if he looks down, he had a player to pick off, but he's able to still get some value. Oh, he gets taken out by Dual Revolver, actually. It looked like he was going to be able to get away, but he wasn't able to. Does get res back up and joins back into the fight. Pulls out the Dragon Blade, going after the Mercy, but he can't get any of his swings to hit. No value at all as Moosey Fate tries to continue on to the point. Death Blossom in from Ninja Man Matt gets a lot of it reflected away, but finally takes him out as they look to push here the last little bit.
Unfortunately, Mukai Kubo at the tail end of that fight using the tactical visor, something they really did not need as they had already won the fight. However, so that's going to put them in a little bit of a dangerous situation in terms of ult economy as they used literally everything. Tormented by Gnomes only slowly starting to get up across that self-destruct here. They're going to be playing a very aggressive play here, but Tormented by Gnome is going to go down, and that's going to mean that the payload, while pushing forward, means that it's going to allow Budget C9 to take a fight here early on, and DGO6 from on high just rained out that damage. Slugslayer will go down to the Junkrat from the high ground as he jumps back down into the fight. DGO6 picks up another kill, and this is going to be Budget C9 taking away the fight. Ninja Man Matt does get a one kill off on Sequoia before forcing himself to wraith out into a health pack, and then without the support of his team does get sent to the respawn room. Dual Revolver able to get out that Farah. A little bit odd in this tight and close second space, but they are going to stick with it as they're nearly at that barrage.
I think they saw there's not a lot that can deal with the Farah, so they wanted to try it, and so far they haven't gotten the value, as much value out of it as they would like yet. We'll see, though, if Dual Revolver can do some work on it. He's trying to take out a bubble shield right now, but his team getting taken down. Sequoia finding another kill. He's been pretty good on that Genji, even though he didn't get anything out of his last ultimate, as they finally clean up here. But a couple of players, but coming in is Dual Revolver using the rocket barrage, but quickly gets taken out there by the gun from the baby D.Va.
A somewhat unfavorable Valkyrie there used from Budget C9 as the tactical visor was being used, so Mukai Kubo immediately using that tactical visor to get rid of the Valkyrie from the side of Budget C9. There comes the self-destruct to zone out the players, and that's going to mean that Ninja Man Mad just going in that backline looking for some value. Those shotguns, the Primal Rage from the attacking side, Echo Foot coming in, assisted by Dual Revolver, does get a kill. 70-78, the Mercy out yet again. Self-destruct, both Mercies out of the picture. And this is going to be trying to get as much value out here, however. And DGO6 in that backline, uncontested, is just going to do as much damage as he can. He walks basically through the entirety of Moosey Fate, and they don't even turn on him at all. Does get taken down, but not before raining a remarkable amount of grenades on the attacking team. And they look to push forward here. Can they capture before a reset happens, or will C9 get back in? Budget C9 engages Sequoia with that Dragon Blade. He looks to find a kill, doesn't see anything quite yet, finds one. The Resurrecting Valkyrie comes in, however, so only one kill from Sequoia with that Dragon Blade, and it's looking a little bit better here as DGO6 will get the mech and one. However, Budget C9 now, their backs against the wall. Enum out of mech, the barrage getting two, Death Blossom as well, so another overcommittal here from the side of Moosey Fate.
Yeah, that Death Blossom probably could have been held on to, and honestly, I think that they would have already captured this point if all three players would have stayed on. You saw the Diva leave, and then you saw the Winston jump out. That actually stalled them out a little bit longer. They were so close that they kept three on the cart. They probably get it before anybody can get there for Budget C9 as the fight continues here now, as working their way up the ramp is Moosey Fate. Ninja Man Matt getting 2 kills here onto DGO6 and Sequoia, so the DPS out of the way for Budget C9. As Moosey Fate's still trying to get some more kills, just hiding right now, and finally getting found out was Ninja Man Matt, and that'll stagger him out on the side of Moosey Fate.
Ninja Man Matt went down early as he was somewhat out of position yet again, and that left that Mukai Kubo was just besieged by both tanks of the defensive Budget C9, and this is going to spell, that was going to almost certainly end all their hopes. Here comes that self-destruct in an awkward position. It's going to be Budget C9 vacating the point for the moment, but Orange Loop in the back line just surviving for a long amount of time, and that means Echo Foot without any real support is going to go down. Sunny78 dashing into the main line, doesn't get punished for it, however. And Budget C9 is going to take advantage and take away most of the kills. They do get one, as the Enum is forced out of mech, but that will not be nearly enough as Ninja Man Matt taken away as Orange Loop just dancing through the back line. The Lucio player gets a sound barrier out, not before DGO6 goes down. Sunny78 bring out the Valkyrie as well, so both support ultimates used here for Budget C9 as Mugai Kubo dashing away to survive from the ultimate from Enum. And it's going to be Budget C9 with a long, drawn-out ball yet again. However, DGO6 will get value out of that Riptire as the Primal Rage comes through yet again. So they pull out quite a few ultimates to the side of Moosey Fate from Budget C9. The last 10 seconds are remaining. Echo Foot is going to have to touch the point here, but he's caught out by Diva. Diva doing a surprising amount of damage there with the missiles, takes him away. Slugslayer will come in with a Resurrect. Overtime is in effect. The contest happens as Dual Revolver gets back in to teleport from Ninja Man Matt. DGO6 putting it out. He's going to get 2. Overtime ticking away, but that's just Echo Foot and Gnome. And with that, this is going to be all that Moosey Fate is going to be content to have as they are taken away here on the third point.
I want to point out something that happened during not the last fight, but the fight before for Moosey Fate. You had Dual Revolver on Pharah, and he was forced away. He was going on a long flank, but he was also forced away due to the good high positioning by the Soldier 76 for Budget C9. He was back where you capture on the final point. That's where he was shooting from, but everybody for Budget C9 was up around the corner almost. He really wasn't outputting a lot of damage, and he didn't try to go more aggressive and try and get into the fight to make that flank worth anything, and that really hurt them there in the end. His team got wiped out, and then eventually he did on the Pharah, but he didn't get any value out of it. That's one of those places where you have to try. It doesn't matter if you're trying to stay safe because of a soldier on high ground. You have to go in there. You have to try and make a difference. And if you can't, that's when you've got to switch. You can't stay that far away and not be doing really any damage, or at least nothing to affect the team that you're trying to flank.
I think another thing is Budget C9 really got away with some aggressive play that really wasn't punished. Orange Loop was, as I mentioned, dancing through that backline, and that's not somewhere you really expect to see a Lucio play, and he really got away with it more than once. So I think Budget C9 is going to be happy to take all the space that Moosey Fate provided, and Moosey Fate definitely going to have to clean up their play a little bit as, again, they are down 2-1 in this best of 5, so not a whole lot of space left for them to make mistakes with, as they are here defending now.
It's funny because it feels like maybe one of the things for Moosey Fate is is when they don't give space, that's when they play really well. And if they give too much space like they did there, that's when things seem to start to go wrong for them. They've just gotta have a little more cohesion and they'll be fine.
As we see a high ground, a little slower defense. So they chose to play an aggressive attack, but they're playing a Ryan Hog combination on defense. And it's going to be a dive composition from the attacking side. They get ready and set. Tormented by Gnomes, swinging away in a tiny hallway. And that means he's going to go away as there's no one there to support him. And Mercy, unable to get the res, Slugslayer is going to go down early. A very unfortunate scenario here is Budget C9 is going to take that room that they're given and just take full reign with it. As it's going to be a couple of kills in Budget C9. Mukai Kubo does manage to take away another kill. And will it be enough, though, as they're trying to make that hold? They've only got Ninja Man Matt in that backline, chasing after the Winston. Winston turns around, as does DGO6. And that's going to be a quick end for them.
The one thing, though, Ninja Man Matt coming in what he did, he stalled things out as now the rest of his team starts to come in. So he's going to be able to get back into this fight now, and his team can try and hold here. And you did have a couple of players coming back for the side of Budget C9. So this is where you can make your hold opportunity now. If you're Musi, coming through into the server room right now is Budget C9. Enum will get Mukai Kaibo, but gets taken out of mech. Ninja Man Matt following up. Sunny will have to res Sinosure to keep him up in this fight. They do have the good positioning here. Ninja Man Matt trying to come in. They should be able to clean up here. I don't think DGO6 realizes, too, that Slugslayer's right behind him. And finally, his team will clean up here. Ninja Man Matt coming back in with a Death Blossom, but maybe a little ill-advised as his team. Not really a lot of numbers to try and get back here. I don't know if they'll be able to get there in time to try and hold. It looks like maybe they will.
Ninja Man Matt does come with a double kill, does provide some space here. Mukai Kubo with a hook, but it does not get any value as there's no follow-up damage as the blade comes through. Sequoia just trying to find some value. They're going to capture the point. He does go down, but again, Budget C9, they take the point from Musi Fate here.
The one thing to point out for Budget C9, it doesn't matter how fast or how slow they get there, as long as they get to the point and they get the capture, they win this game and they move on. They don't need to move at a super fast pace. If they keep this methodical and they just continue to move, that's in their favor. As Echo Foot will get one with the Helix Rockets, Sunny will have to res Orange Loop here, or the side of Budget C9 as they continue to push this cart forward. They forced back has been Musi Fate, and the picks continue to come in. Sinosure jumping in onto Mukai Kaibo, and then looking and finding his way to this Soldier 76.
Budget C9, though, turning the value in their favor as their attack advisor got a little bit more kills than the defensive one did. Ninja Man Matt, the only one standing between the point and the cart, and that's going to be him going down. Now, will there be an offensive thing? This is going to be Dual Revolver and Echo Foot caught out. They need to reset with their team, otherwise they're just going to go down and stagger themselves. Dual Revolver does get killed. And this is going to be very dangerous now for Budget, or for Musi Fate, as Budget C9 is going to continue rolling through, getting another 3 picks. And the cart inching closer to that yellow box of victory.
Luckily, yeah, luckily for them, though, for Musi Fate, there was only one person on the, so it was moving slow. They have a chance to get back into this one.
Oh, and that's going to be Dual Revolver blocked out by the Winston bubble. That means that Ninja Man Matt unable to get the value out of that Transcendence. And that's going to be a big Earth Shadow by Tormented by Nose to capture everyone but Sunny. Sunny 78 walking away. The Resurrect comes through on Echo Foot. Echo Foot just back in the fight. He's going to get 1 kill on Orange Loop. They're trying, Budget C9 is, to turn this fight in their favor, but it looks like Tormented by Gnomes with a huge Earth Shadow gets the value. Sunny 78 using Valkyrie. Will the res come through? Picks up 2. Is that enough? As it's going to be in the backline. Echo Foot with that Primal Rage to zone them away. And then the Death Blossom will come in to get the remainder of the cleanup. And that's going to be Budget C9 ending their push for now. But it's going to be a very scary proposition as there's still 4 minutes left here for Budget C9.
Yeah, a bit of indecision from Budget C9 on that push, LaFon. They were deciding whether or not they were going to go with the 4 or 5 that they had. It was still fairly even, and just standing in one place doesn't help you, gets you killed, and that's what happened. They got staggered out, but they get back in here to take this fight now right on the stairs on the right side. Jumping in are the both Winstons. Coming in was Tormented by Gnomes, gets taken out by Enum, throwing over the top. The self-destruct does get out, go foot, so the tank's taken out. Sunny using the res to keep Sinosure in as they push around this right corner, very close to the golden box now. Mukai Kaibo the only one, and I don't think anybody's going to get back. This should be it here, but charging back in is tormented by gnomes, and he gets taken out right away. He stalls long enough for his team to get back in. Transcendence out. DGO6, though, on the soldier, getting a lot of kills as his team's just trying to push that final little bit, get Echo Foot down, whole hog used, and Ninja Man Matt on top as well, trying to keep his team in this one. Tormented by gnomes, charging back in, doesn't get any value out of his Earth Shatter, but he stays on the point here for a moment to allow Slug to get back in, and Rezmukai Kaibo, they're just continuing to flow here, Lafon, onto the point.
This is all but certain victory now for Budget C9 as the stagger is intense here. Cynosure, another kill. And with that, Lobosco, it's going to be Budget C9 taking the victory in Game 4 of our best of 5.
That end there, though, just you could tell Moosey Fate just knew that their fate was on the line, no pun intended, but they just continued to flow on, and it's a Mercy play that ends up being the play of the game here from Slug Slayer on their initial push. That's what got them this first point. But you have to give good credit to Budget C9. They didn't let the continuous respawns coming in deter them, and they finished off the game the way they needed to.
A very exciting quarterfinal match here between these two teams. So Budget C9 taking the eventual victory between Budget C9 and Moosey Fate as they come out on top. Moosey Fate, unfortunately, unable to really bring it back, although they did have a great showing on Volskaya Industries. Budget C9 taking the victory and moving on.
I think that's the one.
What some really good games there. Like you said, Volskaya was a sign of hope, maybe the reverse sweep, the C9 special, but fortunately C9, while Budget, still better at that, winning 3-1, just like you said, Lafon. But yeah, go ahead, Lobosco, what were you going to say?
Well, I was just going to say that it was a good showing from Moosey Fate, especially after they kind of got rolled really early on. They were finding the things that they needed to do to win, but Budget C9, they were just able to work around the couple things that were going wrong for them, and they were able to win a close final map to get that 3-1 win.
Good stuff. All right, guys. Well, any final words from this matchup? Shout outs. Do you guys have a nomination for MVP of the series?
Oh, if I had to say, the flashy play of DGO6 certainly is up there.
Yeah.
But I think if I had to choose my MVP, it would actually be Cynosure on the Winston for the majority of the gameplay. He was quietly creating a lot of space for his team, really, jumping in and out when he was needed, and just creating that room that DGO6 had to work in. And I don't know if you noticed this, but the supports for Budget C9 never really were contested. And that's almost always because Budget C9 had the aggressive play they needed, and Moosey Fate just wasn't there in terms of the ability to really pressure that backline. So Cynosure for me is the MVP.
And they were able to peel pretty well for their supports when they needed to help them out. And it's an underrated thing that players need to be able to do, is to be able to peel after you go in for an attack to get back to where your team is in need of a fight. Because when you dive in, obviously the dive is going to happen back onto your team. It's all about who can peel and who can get those picks. And that's definitely something that happened. I think that his Winston play, you have to really say, was commendable and was definitely one of the difference here. I mean, I think the Mercy plays on either side, it's hard. It's such a powerful hero right now. So, and I thought both Mercies did really well. And DGO6, I think, has to get a lot of recognition too, because his plays on the main DPS on that really made a difference as well.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, definitely put up a big fight there, but at the end it was just saw a couple ultimates there thrown out that prevented Moosey Fate from being able to take it there. Like Lafon, I think you even commented on like the self-destruct that was behind the point, on that, and not on the other side of the point. Like a Diva ultimate at the last point as you're rounding that last elbow there can be so crucial for opening it up for the team, but unfortunately not able to get those placed right. And I mean, when you're, especially in playoffs, those are the plays that are going to matter.
It always comes down to the who makes the least amount of mistakes.
Yeah.
And I think the big thing for when you look at Moosey Fate was they made their mistakes very early. Sure, they corrected them fairly quick after those first two maps, but when you dig that hole, it's really hard to dig yourself out. And they came close, but close doesn't get you into the semifinals.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, guys, I guess any last words before we get set up for our semifinals of Division 2 for NA?
I mean, beyond the fact that Budget C9 deserves congratulations for a well-fought map or well-fought series,
Yeah.
I really have, I look forward to seeing them later on. But other than that, yeah, no, great showing from both these teams, actually. Musi Fate really, I thought the Volskaya Industries was sharp. There were some, issues here and there, but I look forward to seeing what they can perhaps bring in the coming seasons. And of course, the Budget C9 who move on, and we'll get a chance to fight out the semifinals.
Yeah, nothing for them to really hang their heads about. For Musi Fate, they put up a good showing, and they were in the playoffs, and they were in it till the end. So good job from them. And Budget C9, the journey continues. So now it's semifinal. Now you'd move on. You have to forget about this and move on to the next game.
Awesome. Really good stuff. All right, guys. Well, that's going to do it for our first match of the day. Again, that was quarterfinals. Both quarterfinals and semifinals happening all today, with our finals happening in 2 weeks, so that we can take a quick break to watch some Overwatch World Cup at BlizzCon next week. But that's going to be, again, Budget C9. I'll show the score screen again. Taking it 3-1 over Musi Fate. Musi Fate, unfortunately, not able to do the reverse sweep and get to that last map and 5th map. But up next is going to be from our Division 2. It's going to be a match between Shots Fired, who won their quarterfinal over Teemo 3-1 as well, versus either Armory Esports or Boosted Animals. So, guys, we're going to get set up for the next match and wait for these for the other match to be done, and then we will load back up and get going again for our last match of the day, semifinals for NA Division 2, and we will see you guys after this break.
And that's the Graviton Surge coming down, instantly comboed in with Demu's
Oh,
lovely
man.
ult. That's 4 kills instantly traded on.
Oh, immediately into a huge four-player barrage off of Tamiko. That was a hell of a play, back-to-back.
Widow now, he's doing it all.
Yeah, I'm not gonna. Oh my God!
That's
Talking
going to be the
about
point they take.
That is a 3rd kill on Widow. That's gonna wrap that up.
Also have the ult from Mythbustman, and here a very big ult from Zerglin with the combo with Pokecraft as he throws the Tracer Bomb in, and that wipes everybody.
We've got another 2-2-2 based on Pharmacy coming out from Cloud Riders. And
Well, it's a
immediate success for pick.
2-2-1 after that pick.
This overtime, if they leave for just half a second, this is going to be game over for them. That's going to be a self-destruct coming down. However, 3 kills to finish the map. My goodness. We're still trading quite even, but Dashi is going to get 2. He gets 3. 2 headshots in a row, and that could signal that this point is taken.
the boots!
The boobs are real.